Hi there. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thick Thigh Thursday. Hi, hi. So it has been a minute. It has been a few weeks since I did a Thick Thigh Thursday live. And as y'all know, life has changed. Life has come at me pretty hard over the last couple weeks. So I'm excited to talk to you. And I know it's not just me, right? Like, I know that life has been coming at kind of all of us pretty hard in the last couple weeks. So I wanted to chat with you guys. I wanted to give you a bit of the life updates. Hey, hey. Um a bit of the life updates and then a little bit more I'd say recovery questions. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but like we're gonna talk about it, right? So um the biggest thing, obviously, that everybody's been talking about and everybody's had questions about. Hi, hey, everybody. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for popping in. Make sure you share the live. Make sure you like it. You can drop down in the comments where you're watching from. I would love to connect with you. Send me comments. Hi, hello. Hey, beautiful people. Um, thank you. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for participating. As always, you can always ask questions. If you were on my Instagram or on TikTok, you asked some questions earlier in my story. Those are going to be answered. Hey, Harris from Detroit. Nice to have you here. Thank you for being here. Um, and so, as always, I am Seisha. I am Thick Thigh Yoga. Thank you for being here. Thank you for becoming to be a part of this conversation. Generally, we talk about all things confidence and self love and taking care of yourself and possibly yoga or getting to know yourself better. And a lot of those things are going to happen today as well. So, thank you for being here. Feel free to always drop your questions. I may not answer them when you ask, but I will try to answer them all together. Right. And then remember that the replays are always available on YouTube. So if you're like, oh my God, she's spitting facts, or whatever it is, then go to my YouTube channel. I have a lot of videos. I have a lot of content. I have a lot of these type of conversations. They're all labeled. They'll have hashtags, things like that. So, there's a lot to talk about, but like I said, if it makes sense, then maybe you want to hear more. I'd love to share more with you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for participating. And again, if you have questions, if you have thoughts, if you have yoga questions, whatever it may be, feel free to drop them down in the comments. And I'll get to them as I get to them. So there's a lot of you guys on TikTok. Hi. Again, drop where you're from. I'd love to know where you're watching from. And it is official. I am back in New York. And like, let me tell y'all, Seisha's a New York girl. I have to admit this to myself. After being back for all of not even a week-ish, a little bit more than a week. I I am home, right? And like I know the spaces that I've been in. I've gone out a lot of times. I've reconnected with people. I've seen my friends. I went to the Don Tolliver concert on Monday and at Barclays Center. Nope. Thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate it. Always, always, always. Thank you for being here. Ooh. And if you um hey Reagan, one of my retreat attendees, my latest retreat attendees is in the chat. Hi girl, how you doing? Um so like I said, right? Like I'm back in New York. I'm happy to be home. I obviously, when I moved down to Florida in 2023, so just the beginning of last year, when I moved down to Florida, I thought that was it. I thought that was forever. I thought a lot of things. And nope. Um, I to just make everything frank, especially if you haven't been here for long, or maybe you came here from my crazy ass post where I was leaving. That might have been when you got here, but either way, I thought that I was gonna spend my life down in Florida. I thought that was the shift, and honestly, I am still considering like the things that I have thought out and planned for the future there. So I'm not saying that it's over. I'm not saying that it's done. I'm saying that that part of my life, the way it was, is over. That relationship is over. My space in that, my belonging in that space is over. Um, good, good, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you're doing well, babe. Um, and I am okay with that, right? So I know that a lot of you guys were rooting for us. A lot of you guys wanted the relationship to be amazing, to be what it was and what you saw. Everything that you saw really happened. I never faked anything. I absolutely never would do that and feel like that's reasonable. I don't feel like that's reasonable for us. I wanted to show the representation of a Black woman that is built like this, being loved properly. And at the point in times where I was, I was. And when I wasn't, I also spoke on that, right? And that's what I want you to remember when you come here to Seisha's page, right? You're going to get the truth. You're going to get the real, regardless of whether it's like super fun and happy. And I might say it with a smile or a laugh because I have a very dark sense of humor. And my coping mechanism is to laugh at things. But in that same vein, in that same vein, right? I am also just always going to be real about it. I'm going to be real about what happened. Is it disappointing to me and to a lot of people? Yeah. Whether you were in it or not, I get it. And we saw, if you saw the post where I kind of shared some screenshots and some information about what narcissism looks like and how, how volatile somebody that is a narcissist can be towards you. If you're easily triggered by those things, I wouldn't go look for the post. But if you're just trying to figure it out and you would like to, hey, if you would like to take a look at some of the reasoning and the things, feel free to go scroll back a little bit. And I shared some information, like I said, about like dating a narcissist and what happens in their tactics and kind of things, just to recognize and say, okay, you know what, I need to take a step out of this now. Because sometimes we don't know. And sometimes it's like, all right, well, there's ups and downs in a relationship, and people are really good at gaslighting you about like, oh no, give it a try, and this and the other. And then I know for women and ladies, feel free, agree with me, to disagree with me, whatever, share your thoughts with me in the comments, right? As women, we're taught that you need to go find your Prince Charming from like birth, right? Like that's our very first thing. That's the Disney movies. That's the life that we grew up with, right? The Disney movies now, like we finally got some heroes that are not, just getting saved by some cute man coming. Um, it's actually like, oh, the women experiencing things and doing things. Hey, Jalen, thank you for being here. And so in this time when there was a lot of thought, there was a lot of back and forth, there's a lot of emotion tied to it, and like I said, the desires, right? I thought this was going to be my life. I thought that this is going to be it. Thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate it. Right, like I thought this was the life that I was going to live, and I had to adjust. And so I've been having a lot of conversations. I feel like my hair is just being weird. Sorry. But I have been having a lot of conversations about like, oh, I would be so broken if I was in this situation, or like, I hate that I delayed my life for my man to do this, that, and the other. I have got the novellas in my DMs. Listen, thank you. My hair, I'm glad y'all think my hair is always gorgeous. I fight with it, but that's always we're always the hardest on ourselves. And then it's hard because I'm always looking at myself. Anyway, and like in this, I digress. Right, back to what I was saying. So the conversations that I've been having, the ways that women have shown up and just told me like, I am so glad that you are telling this story. I hate that I kept mine secret, or I hate that he still gets away with this because nobody knows the way he treated me. And that, there's an abuser here that does this or this and the other. There's so many things. There's so many people. There's so many places that these stories aren't being told. And like, do I like parading the abuse that I received out on the street? Not really. Like, I don't enjoy it. This isn't like fun. But at the same time, I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong here. I was blatantly lied to. I was put in a situation. I was used in a certain way. And honestly, like I said, all the things you saw, it wasn't a lie. Like I was being loved like this. I was being treated like this. We really went the places. We really did the things, right? And so if I can represent what was happening then, I can represent what's happening now. I can always be truthful and always feel good about that. Um, and that's not everybody's move, right? I talked about this a few weeks ago. We've definitely got to go back now, right? A few weeks ago, since I haven't been live for the last 2 weeks. But like, if it sits right with your soul to just shut up and move on, get out, run in the dark of the night, swiftly save yourself as much energy as possible because that person doesn't deserve it anymore, right? But if it doesn't sit right with you, like it didn't sit right with me, because I'm in a situation where I'm looking at somebody who, you know, how like the stories of these wellness professionals, it comes out after they've got this entire following, this cult like following, and now they've done this and they've gone crazy or they whatever. Now, I'm telling you right now, don't let it get that big. I mean, and like if it I don't feel like it lowers what I'm doing because I'm being honest. And whatever consequences come, they're earned, right? Hey, thank you so much. Um in TikTok, if you're in TikTok, follow Motherland Essentials. She is the person, the soaps and the bath bombs and the things like that that you see me use. That's her. So check out her page. Um she's also on Instagram, but she's just in the chat on TikTok. So yeah, I needed to share, I needed to say what it was that was going on because I refused to be quiet. Like I mean, honestly, if we could talk to grams, if we could talk to my parents, if we could talk to whoever, like, I've always been like this. And I always find it shocking. Like, why did you think I wasn't? Why did you think I wasn't going to put your shit on Front Street? Why did you think that this was never a thing? I'm going to be this. And like, and this is myself too, right? Like, I have to take accountability. I have to own whatever steps and things that I took part in. And this is where, being that I know I do this, I can stand fully 10 toes down that I wasn't involved in it this way, right? Like I wasn't holding myself back like this. I wasn't going for things that were inherently wrong, that were blatantly wrong, that were lies. I never did that. I was subject to it because of the situation. And when somebody lies and they create an entire world, it is easy to one, get caught up in that, right? It is also easy, like, because women are like, I don't know how you did it, you're so strong. It's easy to want to stay. It's easy to want to be quiet because you don't want to face the backlash, right? It's easy to want to be quiet because you don't want to feel embarrassed or the guilt of going with things that were wrong, blah blah. I get it. Those are real feelings. And then there was the conversation on Threads even was like, okay, well, you know, I should have left, but I tried to make it work because we had the kids and we had this and the other. Yeah, no, I say she ain't got no kids. I'm good. Like, and thank God, right? Like I had family here to come home to. I have a space to be. I have a level of support that I'm not saying is impossible. I think if you need to find it, please go find it. Start your resources, start having your conversations as quietly as possible. And maybe that starts in your head first. It starts in a journal, writing things down, but really like start to own what the situation is that you're in so that you can grow from it, right? So that you can get better, so that you can get stronger and smarter and make moves in a way that is going to be great for you, your family, your future, etc., and so forth. Um um, you're right. The comment here is fuck a backlash. Folks are fickle and will get over it. Your life is always yours to live. Yes. And so that is a real thing too. I want you to know this is a statement that I'm making so that you guys understand that this wasn't easy for me either, right? There is a person that I will not name. There's a person that I will not name that blatantly said to me, why keep talking about it? And then also commented on a post after I posted everything that said, that's right, girl, stand up for yourself. Which one is it, bitch? And like, see, that's where I get angry. I'm like, you can't say that it's both. at the same time, I understand people have their feelings and people are allowed to have their feelings and you're allowed to not care about them, right? And so, in that way, right? Because the narcissist didn't care about them, right? So, why should I? Why should I now try to protect you? If you were willing to throw me under a bus, right? Why should I protect you if you were willing to lie to me about, you were willing to waste my time, my future, the goals that I had? You were willing to do that. So if you are willing to throw it away, so am I. Let's call it sanitation. We're good. And the thing, right, that I want to really hold on to here and I want to really make clear. I made a video about this like a day or two after I got back. Um I never lost myself. And that's the hardest part. When you put yourself on the back burner to have the family, to have the kids, to you that when women say, and I speak from the point of view of women, men are allowed to chime in as necessary. Watch your mouth. Um, but when you put your life, your desires, the things you want to do, school, career, family, whatever it is that you delayed for a man because he asked you to, because he told you to, because he wasn't ready because of that. I'm so sorry that that happened. I'm so sorry that they did that to you. And then yes, there are the situations, like I said, it's in my DMs, y'all. I'm just not putting people's stories on blast. But right, like if they're in a super manipulative situation where it's like, oh yeah, he told me that he was gonna I paid for him to go to school, and now now we have kids and he's supposed to be paying for me to go to school. Now I can't get out of this situation because he used me, because he's financially abusing me, because like there's all types of situations like this. And like, one, I'm sorry that you're in it if you're in it. Two, there's definitely a way out. That's it. And sometimes that's writing it out for school. Sometimes that's, moving in silence. Like, and it is what it is. Sometimes you can make big, loud moves and get out. I chose not to get verbally abused the way I was being abused in those messages for the last month of living in Florida. I just chose not to. I just chose to just shut up, uh, because I didn't want to choose that for myself. I don't deserve to be abused. I knew what was going to come from me saying anything. So I shut up about it. I chose to do that. I was able to keep my cool. Somebody said that, somebody commented like, I need to be able to get a more of a emotional control because I just be crashing out immediately. And then, now there's no cards to play. And I get it. And I understand. And I'm not saying that there's a wrong way necessarily. The right way for you is the right way for you. I can't say you should handle things the way I handle them. I can't say that I necessarily should have handled things the way I handled them. I did already. This is what it is. I moved the way I felt like I needed to. And you are allowed to always do that, right? And so in the conversation of like, again, my career, when I moved from Queens, my career was already online. Um, I appreciate you always. Thank you for this transparency. I also fully condone crashing out. Listen, some people need to. This is, and like that's the thing. I do I feel like some people deserve that level of like a response? Absolutely. Do I also know that life is devastating without me? Absolutely. So I'm able to make these moves with no sweat on my back. It's fine. It's fine because I know I'm always going to have me. And that's exactly the point. I prioritize my business, the things that I need to do, the conversations that I need to have, the emails that I need to send. I have hosted multiple retreats. I have hosted multiple events. I plan to continue to do this. Nothing about that is stopping me. I am the biggest thing that I am now taking a step back from, or taking, I guess, a timeline technically step back in, was like, yes, I wanted to get married and have a family. And now after this election, I don't even know if I want to get married. Yes. Uh so I don't know, right, about that. Like I that now I'm not even sure, but I still know like I want a family and I'm gonna figure it out. And maybe that means that, there's definitely a prenup or something because I'm not getting into the hairs of it. But I have to go through the process now of one, continuing to heal, two, growing into more into the person that I want to be and to be in our family. Um, and find the right person to play that role with me and to be that person. And I had a lot of the things that I wanted. And honestly, being in my last relationship allowed me to become softer, allowed me to be taken care of in a way that I had never been before. So I know that it's possible. I know that I can pour into myself and continue to pour into myself the way I have been and build something that's even stronger, even better, something more real. And so yes, Big Pepsi. I heard he was married. So I just heard he was married recently myself. So if you want to talk about it, I definitely got to cut this out as a clip. So yes, I'm gonna say this. You can go back to the other posts, you can go back, you can look at the things. I talked about some things, but so yes, I was lied to about the fact that this man was married. Not only was I lied to, everyone was lied to. This is what I was saying when I said a world is created. When a narcissist creates a world that they live in, the world that is in their brain and the space that they take up. Yeah, this is real. This is it. I don't care that I was just married to her. I've decided now that I'm not. So, living life as a single person that I met through other people in our space who also didn't know he was married, as in nobody knew he was married, right? I got into a relationship. Now, and I remember, and the people that have tried to blame me online, like, well, you probably missed mad red flags and this that, and the other, or he this that, and the other. He didn't lie to you. How did you keep a secret? This one, he did. If no one knew, how was I supposed to know if no one knew? His wife knew about me, which is crazy. He was in an open marriage, allegedly. They not allegedly, because she knew about me. I've spoken to her. Because again, I'm gonna find out. Right. Um, I spoke to her, we had an interaction. She um like I said, she knew about me. I when we were dating long distance, who's watching your kid if you don't know? So, yes, she knew, and she said she knew about me. The thing is that if I never knew about you, if I never knew that you were married, if I never knew that this was a relationship that you had, then I am the one being lied to. I am the one being wronged here. Now, I will give you this. This was a direct quote that I just, okay, in the conversations, the private conversations, like I said, in the time that last month when I was just trying to gather whatever it is that I could figure out could make sense of, right? I asked why. And I finally, like, I broke down and I was just like, why'd you lie to me about this? And we had this whole thing. So then he decided to yell at me and say, well, I feel like you weren't fucking listening to me because blah blah blah, and talked about his family and his daughter and blah blah blah. And then I was like, do you understand that you never said marriage? You never said wedding, wife, marriage, married, spouse, legal partner, nothing, none of those words, right? So the conversation, the response, the response, y'all, was, I never used the word marriage because I wanted you to understand the complexities of our relationship. So if you ever needed some fuckboy shit am I hearing fuckboy shit? Yes, there it is, right there. Big old blatant fuckboy bullshit. um, and what was even better with that is how I got to him to really admit that he in fact lied to me, right? So I said, okay, so based on the situation and everything the way it played out, if you had been honest with me and had the opportunity to explain the complexities, do you think that I still would have participated with at least our conversation to start? And, we could have maybe built from there still, depending on how things went and all that. And he sat there and he put his hand on his chin and he thought for like a solid 30 seconds, right? And then he said, I do think so. Hey, yes, I do think you would have, or something along those lines, right? Like it was like a yes. And I was like, okay, so two things. One, that means that you used incorrect language. You used the verbal gymnastics to get out of saying anything about this. because a man would have shut it down. A man that knew he didn't say anything or felt like he was right would have shut it down immediately. He would be like, I didn't say that. And y'all know I'm right. Y'all know I'm right. So, one, let's admit that. And then two, um, so you also know that you didn't even have to lie according to this information. Doesn't that make you feel dumb? Because it doesn't make me feel dumb. It makes me feel lied to. It doesn't make me feel dumb because I asked the questions. What really triggered the whole fight of me saying something and me being so distraught and so upset? Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for all the things. Hi. Right. So, what really made me distraught about the whole thing, I remembered asking the question, if you never married her, quote, if you never married her, how do you know you would want to marry me? Because I'm not a fool, right? This was a question that I asked out loud. And the response, being that he was legally married, should have been something along those lines, right? The response was, well, because she never wanted to. Okay, right? And so I found out about this in the midst of finding out about a whole bunch of things. It was already done. That's kind of what I'm saying, right? And that was this conversation that I'm talking about was like 3 weeks ago. Like, that's it. This conversation, I was like, oh, wow. If you ever thought I was going to touch you again, this is an interesting way to go. All right. Because I don't play. And that's the thing. I feel like I always have a smile on my face and I'm always like chatting. I'm always this. I don't mean I'm fucking playing. And I'm cool with that. And you know, that's a harsh life for a lot of people. A lot of people can't do that. And I'm not saying that, again, I'm not saying that that's the right way to do it. I'm not saying that this is how it's supposed to get done. I'm saying this is how Seisha did it. And if you feel like you need to get out, I believe you. That's really it. I believe you. If you feel like you need to get out, I agree. um, so yeah, feel free to ask any other clarifying questions you may have in this context, but that's pretty much it. So as I said in all of this, and the real purpose of me sharing all of these things is that, like, if you keep pouring into yourself, if you believe in you more than you believe in your partner, if you believe in yourself first, if you believe in what you want to be able to create and provide and the way you want to live and all those things above everything else can in fact fall into place. Right? So right now even I'm in the process I said it last night when I was having difficulty sleeping. Which I've slept fine multiple days, but last night specifically when I was having difficulty sleeping, I was like, I didn't move enough today. And that's the thing, right? I'm in a situation right now. I've got to figure out my new routine. I've got to figure out what that looks like. I'm in a different space than I've ever lived in before, technically, right? And I mean, I'm back home in Queens and I know where there's a nice park to go to. I know this, I know that, but I'm still just in a different space. So figuring out my routine, figuring out, where I want to keep my French press and how I want my mornings to look and feel and sound. I'm in the process of doing that now. Right. And I'm allowed to take my time. I'm allowed to take whatever time I need to take in order to do that, because this is me, again, trying to make sure that I'm doing the best for myself. I still want to have the things that I said I was going to have. So I'm going to have them. Right. Thank you. Thank you, Faith. Yes. And I'm still going to do that. I've always been this person. You can ask people that didn't like me in elementary school. I was still going to do what I wanted to do. And here we are 30 years later. And I'm still just, if I feel like it's right, if I feel like it's what I want to get done, if it's what I'm supposed to do, it's my purpose, it's going to happen. I'm going to do it. I don't back down. I reshape. I will follow my goals. I will change what it is I want to do. I used to want to be a school principal, y'all. School made me hate it. So so I'm not. But But I used to want that. And now I'm in a different space and I love what I do more than anything else. I love holding these spaces. I love having these conversations. I love looking at people in the eye where they're like, I would never say that, and that's uncomfortable. You would never say that. Here I am saying it. Here we are. That's really it. You can take it or you can leave it. And that's just who I am. And that is also, let me tell you, it's hard because that's exactly why people lie to me. That is 100% why people lie to me, because they know I will cut them out of my life. And that is a situation. That's something I have to deal with. This has to now again elevate my level of discernment. I will say that I really don't know. I don't know the other side of the lesson. I know one lesson that I learned from this again, and I mentioned this earlier, is the concept of like being able to be softer, being able to show up in a relationship in a different way, being able to state expectations in a way that I didn't feel like I could before. I've expressed this before. So I was married, I was divorced. I was divorced. Anyway, uh, so when I got divorced, I felt like I found my voice again. I felt like I have been asking for things and it's just been shut down and I've been silenced because asking for things was too much. And so now after being divorced, I'm like, no, I'm going to ask for it out loud, because I was asking for it out loud. And that's exactly the thing, right? It was like, well, you always want too much. And the goalpost is changing and this and the other. All right, well, if that's how you feel, then I'm sorry, you're not enough. But that's about as sorry as I'm going to be. That's me. Because I know what I'm asking for is reasonable. I know that not only is it reasonable, you said you were gonna. You said you were going to do this and you did not. Um, so I can't, right? Like I can't do that. If you said you were gonna do this and you won't, you won't show up, you won't show up for yourself, you won't show up for me, I'm good. It's okay, because I'm always going to show up for me. And I pour into myself enough to show up for a lot of people. That's why a lot of you guys are here. Always. And every time I appreciate you being here. And that's the thing. I do all of this on purpose. I live all of this on purpose. Um I'm so sorry that you are late, and I'm definitely not going back to this story right now. I appreciate you being here. Um but we're talking about the recovery process, right? So like I said, I'm building my reset now, right? I'm building what this space is. I'm building what my life looks like, and in a way that is very comfortable for me. And I only plan on including new people in my life that are comfortable with that fit with that align with me. I am done with unaligned people. I am done being in unaligned spaces. Um, and I kind of have been for a while, but listen, it is intentional. Um, and I mean, I've got to be intentional. If they're going to be intentional with their bullshit, I got to be intentional with my discernment, with my actions, with my thoughts, right? Um, and like I said, nothing stopped. My coaching didn't stop. My yoga didn't stop. My classes didn't stop. My retreats haven't stopped. I was going through a crisis and sold out a retreat in 6 weeks. I live a great life. I am a happy person. I do what I need to do. And so I feel like more of us, if we didn't put those things on the back burners because somebody else said to, if we were just like, yeah, you know what? Well, I'm going to keep going. Then at the end of that, you don't feel bad for losing what wasn't working, because what was working is continuing to work. It feels a lot better. It feels a lot stronger. It feels a lot softer for you to land on. If I felt like I was discarding my entire life and I was never going to have anything like this again, and this is going to be terrible, blah, 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 or what am I going to do? That's a lot harder of a decision. That is a lot harder of a decision. And I don't want you to be in that situation. I couldn't, I wouldn't, I won't. And I want to give you that. I want to give you the opportunity to talk about it for yourself and come back to yourself and learn yourself better. That's exactly what we do in the yoga retreats. That's what we do in our conversations, in our coaching, in our groups, in our classes. Like, this is what we do. We find more of ourselves so that whatever's happening, whatever's going on, it doesn't feel like now my life is ruined. It feels like, wow, that really didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Let me take a step away. Let me go in this direction because this is working, because this is positive, because this does feel good. And when you don't have any space that feels good, that's a really hard thing to do. But if you know, and if you're grounded, and if you have a really strong understanding, it's super duper easy. Um, Do I have any advice for those who want to get started having their own retreats in order to plan and whatnot? I have, so yes, the plan is, I have a few videos. Let me take a step back. I have a few videos on retreat planning, on the steps, the things that I've done to get started. And at the end of the month, which I'm letting you guys know right now, this is going to be a Black Friday release, the retreat planning ebook is going to come out. So that'll be available on my website. I wanted to create a resource that made sense, and I like it. I'm just in the finalization of the visuals right now. The content is there. Along with, like I said, some videos. I'm going to post more YouTube videos on it. There are a couple YouTube videos, so take a look on my page if you are interested in that as well. I know there's a lot of yoga teachers that follow me, retreat wellness leaders that follow me. Hey girl, hey. And so, yeah, I mean, that is something that I know right now we're in a space, especially like I said, after the election, right, where we kind of want to run away, and retreats are retreating, right? To take a step away, to take that space away from this craziness. That is a really great space to be. So there's still spots in week 2 of Cartagena if that's what you want to do. But as far as planning, yes, that's what I have as far as resources that are available right now and will be available in the next 2-ish weeks. Okay, make sure you're on my email list to get that update if you are looking for that as well. And maybe I'll make a new email list, like specifically for leaders, and see what uh, those the best way to share those resources would be, right? Thank you for asking the question. Always the wheels they needed to turn. Okay, I have a date, so I have to get out of here. Any last questions? Any last questions? Drop them in the chat. I'm gonna go back in the comments here. I know I missed one from my boy Willie, who I don't know if he's still here, and then somebody else. Yes. Keeping it real has its pros and cons, but if you did heal that way, that was best for you. I respect your vulnerability, though. You processing your experience in a very healthy, therapeutic way. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm excited. We're gonna have fun. Thank you. And you are new, so no questions, but have fun. Thank you so much. And do I do my live yoga on certain days? So I teach yoga classes Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. You can go to thickthigh-yoga.com and book your class there. I also do private sessions. I have my private sessions online. I do usually a lot of my sessions are literally morning and evening. So 7 a.m. Private sessions with clients before they're getting ready for work and headed out, or 5 to 7 p.m. in the evening at, obviously whatever allotted appointment time, because then that fits the after school schedule, after work schedule. So if you are looking for private sessions, if you're looking to get started, if you're like, I don't know what to do, one-on-one, book some one-on-ones. That's what you do. That's the right move. That's it. You can also go to classes where you are. Depending on where you are, feel free to send me a message. If you're like, Seisha, I don't know anybody that like this, or anybody with a certain body. I don't know anybody that around me that could teach like this. Send me a message. I might know somebody in the area that you're looking for. I will do my best to suggest. I have a lot of friends now all over the country, so I would gladly help you in that way if I can. But again, I do private online sessions so that if you're like stuck, Let's start there. And absolutely, floor work is great to start, but still, if you don't know what to do, you don't know what to do. And I've had people come to me that are like, I've been working on this for like 6 months and I'm trying to get into my split. I've been working on this for like 6 months and I don't feel like I'm seeing the progress and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, well, what have you been doing? And nothing related to splits, nothing. Or like so far, right? And it's like, so look, I'm not saying that you need to get into a cycle of $500 a month training and this and the other and whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying buy a pack of sessions, get some practice in, ask your questions, and keep working. Like that's really it. I want to be as accessible and I want to create as much accessibility as possible. Those of you who have been around, you know, I was a special ed teacher. Accessibility means a lot to me. I am dedicated to it. Bodies like this are not what you see when you see hashtag yoga. We know that. And honestly, y'all, I am worried about these social media streets with this election as well, because the algorithm is already fat phobic, already racist, already all of these things. So it's just going to get worse and harder. Yay. So make sure you're on my mailing list. Make sure that you've got the contact that you need so that you can actually see me. You can actually get what you want to get out of this. There's a reason that you're here. So make sure that you're here on purpose. Okay. I would love to help you always. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. If you had any questions, if you missed anything, as always, the live is available on YouTube. The playback is there. Thank you so much for all the gifts. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you so, so much. If you have any other